We're just heading to Port Arthur. Check out the ruins down there. We thought we'd take a side track and have a look at this little bay down here. Pretty picturesque. Pirates Bay, just north of Port Arthur. Out yonder where the ferry is, you can see an island, a little island of the Dead it's called. There's a whole stack of people out there that are buried. And this island along here to the right was the first children's prison. That's where they had over 800 kids on that island at one time. And yeah, all shipped out from various places around the world just for minor offences. It's pretty harsh. And this is Port Arthur Penal Settlement, or whatever's left of it. We got a pair of green rosellas here having a feed. Really enjoying it too. Little biscuit. Green rosella in the caravan park, pretty friendly. Port Arthur, Tasmania, Australia. We come down to Dewtown on the north end of the peninsula. And this is actually at Pirates Bay. Pretty picturesque. There's blowholes hereabouts. I'm going to go and have a look for them. Hopefully I don't get wet. They got a bit of snow last night at the Port Arthur holiday village. A bit fresh. Pirates Bay. Bit fresh out here. The other side of Pirates Bay. It's been raining most of the day today. There's a lot of kelp down there in the wood. We just stopped for a feed of fish and chips at this little place on the east coast of Tasmania called Bicheno. Those of us around that think that these seagulls are pretty dumb sort of a bird, but these fellas are quite smart. They've started up a rookery on the best bit of real estate in Bicheno, because they're just across the water on the Lobster Shack. That's a perfect place to bring up your young, right near a constant food source. Bicheno is the east coast of Tasmania. This is Coles Bay in Freycinet National Park on the east coast of Tasmania. A couple of big hills right on this bay. The tallest one in the bay is Mount Dove, central to the screen now. About 485 metres high, I reckon. Not a bad little spot. Finally, the sun's come out. The end's dropped down a touch. Good time to be out and about. Coles Bay, Freycinet National Park on the east coast of Tasmania. The red rocks of the Bay of Fires on the east coast of Tasmania. I thought it might have been a lichen, but it's more like paint. You can't seem to scrape it off. Maybe it comes from the kelp stain left over. Maybe not as well. pretty unique anyway, whatever it is. Bay of Fires, Tasmania. Just called into the pub in the paddock, but alas, it's closed. Must be the pub with no beer in the paddock. Beautiful country around here about, so. This is on the north coast, Tasmania, northeast coast. The pub with no beer in the paddock. St Columba Falls, on the top end of Tasmania, just down the road from the pub in the paddock. Oh, there's about over 200,000 litres of water a minute come down over these falls. Between two mountains, Mount Albert and Mount Victoria. West Pyengana country. Lots of man turns around here, some of them 20 feet tall. So we'll walk back through here. No idea what it looks like walking down here, it's quite cool. Funny noisy over there. St Columba Falls in Pyengana country, top end Tasmania, just down the road from the pub in the paddock, which was closed by the way. There's Ross Church up there. We finally got a bit of sunlight in central Tasmania. Standing right next to an old stone bridge. Lots of ornate markings on it. Yeah. This bridge formed part of the road from the main road between Launceston and Hobart. And it was built by a couple of stonemasons called convict stonemasons. One by the name of Herbert and the other was Colbeck. And they had a convict gang to help them build it. And the powers to be were that impressed by the time they finished it, they set those two fellas free. It is a pretty flush looking bridge, isn't it? All in Ross, central Tasmania. Standing on the bridge over the Nive River. This is up towards Queenstown, Tasmania. Back after the war, World War II, they built this hydroelectric scheme here. Tarraleah, I believe it's called. And down yonder where all them pipes are going up the hill there, that's the Pyengana power station in there, and substation. I reckon they built this hydroelectric scheme and it brought the nation together after the war apparently, because there was all different nationalities come to work here. The Nive River. It's to the south of Queenstown in Tasmania. We're just to the southwest of Queenstown, and we believe the mountain on the left is Mount King William 1 and the one on the right is Mount King William 2. Looks like there's a lot of snow up this way at times. Just going to wander over here because I think this way. This is the track towards Queenstown, and I believe there's a peak over here with a bit of snow on it, or a white quartz or something, in the middle of the screen there, you can see. We think that's called, if I can zoom in a little bit, pretty sure that's called Frenchman's Cap. Not sure of the range though. So this is all part of the King William Range, I believe, just to the southwest of Queenstown. This is Lake Burbury, just out of Queenstown. Saying just out of Queenstown, probably take us a couple of hours to get there though, from here. There's the Throw Hills out this way. We've got Mount Owen. Queenstown's out yonder over the hills. Mount Lyell, 120 odd metres. Mount Sedgwick to the back there. And I think this one's the tallest of them. I'm just trying to work out which one it is. Eland Peak. That's at about 1430 odd metres. It's quite a big hill, be a good trek up there. Take you a few days, I reckon. Lake Burbury. Up through Cradle Mountain National Park. $6 a night here at camper van or camp tent, whatever. Nice and warm at the moment. It's good change. Lake Burbury, Tasmania. This is our view of Lake Burbury for the night. What a view. Lake Burbury, Tasmania. We're in the Western Highlands, central Tasmania. This is the Great Lake. We're going to head down the bottom of there, camp tonight. This up here is Dells Bluff. That's at 1200 metres, and to get here we come over a mountain range and we get up to the highest point was 1222 metres. Must be one of the highest roads in Tasmania, I reckon. Great Lakes, Central Highlands, Tasmania. Just set up camp at Little Pine Lagoon, just off the bottom of the Great Lake in the Tasmanian Highlands. This is a man-made lagoon on the Little Pine Creek. They put a little dam along the creek and diverted some of the water to Echo Lake, which is a little bit downstream. This lake is arguably the best place in Tasmania for fly fishing, and is stocked with brown trout, and must be perfect conditions for them because they don't have to restock it, they keep breeding, and that's a very popular place, right time of the year. Little Pine Lagoon. Free camping, not a bad little area. Got a couple of long drop dunnies by the look of it. Bit of a storm over yonder. That's the Great Lake over that way, over the hill. Little Pine Lagoon, just off the bottom of the Great Lake in the Tasmanian Highlands. This little tree here is one of the rarest in the world and maybe one of the first species. It's called a Huon pine. They don't survive too well out in the bush. They like to be near rivers, so they like a lot of water. Fine little specimen. They are a lot bigger than that. Huon pine. Up at the AirWalk out of Geeveston, Tasmania. These are stringy bark trees. They're pretty bloody tall. They've been here for a long time, I reckon. Nice little walk through the pine forest. All manner of pines through here. Oh, stringy bark. What was that? The firewood off one of them. Over here, we've got a dogwood. Oh, pretty tall. Spindly. Searching for light, I expect. Quite a few small Huon pines along this trip. They live for thousands of years, them fellas. And they're only found down here in Tasmania. And then here we have the Nive River. Up in the hills out of Geeveston. About 19 metres above ground here. On an airwalk out in the bush. That tree there is called ambassador tree. They look a bit tarnished because in 2019 the forest fire started out this way by a storm comes through. It burnt over 63,500 hectares out this way. So they've had to rebuild this airwalk here. Done a good job of it. And it's overlooking the Nive River down there. Not a bad little spot. Tahune AirWalk. Just out of Geeveston, well 27 k's out to be exact.
That's an old rooster carcass. We've had a number of people around here that took. And you only need one rooster, or two maybe. When you're hatching 50 eggs, you say you're only about 25 of them. So the excess ones come to us.